It's almost like you have to have an eye for that because you have to be able to, I mean, capture that moment, which is,
Yeah.
I mean, I've tried to take pictures of like
hmm
scenery and it comes out and I'm like, oh,
I
this was
mean,
rough.
I'm sure I didn't have as good of an eye the first few times I was doing
It's
it.
like a
And, I've
process.
probably taken how many, probably a couple 100,000 pictures in my life,
No shit.
Well, yeah, throughout the just, phone pictures and just as I go along. It's normally about 20,000 a year I'll do on my camera nowadays, give or take. It'll just reset. It goes up to like 10,000 and then resets or something. So I can
Damn.
generally see how many.
How many are you taking when you go out and you're like, okay, I'm going to go hit this spot?
Yeah, if I go like take a nice foggy morning down to the avenue, it'll be four to 400 shots. I
And then
mean,
you got to go back through and high grade all that.
yeah, and I mean a lot of the times it's like if I get like one of my most recent shots, I have a car coming up and the headlights are
Yeah, I saw that.
reflecting off of the pavement. I'll just sit there and as a car's coming up, just take like 10 shots, 12
Like a
shots.
burst?
Yeah, basically, because you don't know what's going to be the exact perfect moment at
Yeah.
that time. You're getting rained on and all that stuff. You can figure that stuff out later, just as long as you get the shots, and it can be hundreds of shots. But yeah, I normally will remember like, okay, towards the last of it, that's where I want to be looking. So I'll just like change the perspective slightly if I look back at it, and I'll normally hone it in throughout a couple dozen shots. Yeah. But yeah.
How long have you been doing this? Has this just, I mean, has this just always kind of been?
Yeah, I mean, ever since I kind of had my license and could go out and explore and just like, yeah, so ever since I was 16, I've loved exploring, but I've gotten really into the just, digital photography aspect of it since, I got my DSLR back in 2016 or 2017, I guess. Yeah.
Yeah,
That's just like 4 years I'm coming up on it. And
loving every minute.
yeah, right. Yeah. I mean, I definitely go through slumps. Like, in the summertime, I'll end up not going out as much because, I mean, the weather is a big factor and it's boring in the summer. We get just
That's
blue
interesting.
skies
Yeah.
and fog.
I would have thought that'd be like the perfect
A
time
lot
to
of
go
people
out.
do, yeah. But I mean, the fall and spring and winter are my favorite times because I'm kind of a weather nerd. Like I get really excited if it's raining or snowing or
Or the
something
fog's rolling in.
yeah, exactly. If you can see some natural phenomenon going on, I'll get excited about it. But yeah, it's just blue skies. It's just like tame. It's kind of.
I would not have thought
I can't
that.
do much with it. Yeah, I really.
The first picture I saw from you actually was, it must have been like the Eel River maybe, or the Van Dusen or something, and the fog's rolling in the background, and
Yeah.
you've got the rain coming down.
Oh yeah, that's the Eel River. Was there little raindrops kind of
Yeah.
floating up? Yeah.
That was a crazy picture.
Thank you. Yeah. It's funny that morning I drove down to the avenue, went down to the Rockefeller Forest, took pictures for a couple hours, and I came back to Rio Dell where I live, and I was like, let's just go check out the river bar really quick. And who would have thought that's the picture that kind of
Pop.
made the made the trip. And yeah, I mean, it was just not really expected. I kind of crouched down when it was raining in the river and just held it under me so I wouldn't get my camera wet. And yeah,
Those are probably the best moments to capture, huh?
Mm-hmm.
Those ones where you're not quite expecting to get anything.
Yeah.
And there it is.
Yeah, like I didn't even, that wasn't the first picture I edited when I went back home either. I went through all the other ones and I was like, oh, that's all like, it's not doing it for me. And then I was, oh, okay, maybe this last second thought, yeah, maybe that would do it. And you never know what people are going to respond to.
Yeah, that's the crazy part about art, especially, is you don't know what's going to grab people.
Like, you can think it's good, it has some elements like beautiful skies, a good subject or something, but people may just be like, oh yeah, it's just random other picture. Yeah, but some pictures where it's like that one, it's just like, oh, it's just the river when it's raining. Like who would like that? But I've sold that picture more than any of my other pictures, just people being like, hey, do you sell prints? And I'm like, well, kind of, yeah, I could just sell you the file or something, like, yeah. But yeah, it always keeps me on my toes, and I'm trying to learn and respond to that, see what people like, and I could do more like that. But it's mainly just down to what I like.
Yeah, you almost have to feel it, I'd imagine.
Yeah. I try to be, not try to be, but I kind of can be a little selfish with it, like, because it's for me first. Like, I never really wanted to be like a big time photographer, wedding photographer, or anything. It's just my hobby. So I just want to go out there and take pictures, be out there and see what I can make of it. But like Yeah, it's a fine balance between doing that and like doing what you think might make people happy or respond to it more, get more likes or something like that. Yeah.
Yeah, that's got to be a hard road to travel down, huh? Because at one point you're like, man, I just want to do this for, I like this scene and I want this picture.
Yeah, which is nice because I could still do that. And I mean, it's just like, because I'm not like a professional photographer being paid to go out to do something.
Take shots of things you're not actually interested in.
Yeah, which is why I think I probably wouldn't want to become a professional photographer. It's all about just my cathartic state of just exploring and recording what I see.
It seems like that's when people get their best work done, is when they go into it not because, man, I want to make some cash or I want to get I want to sell 100,000 pictures or make this my career. They go in because I just love it. I think you need that to actually be good for one and to actually maybe make a career out of it.
That makes sense. Yeah, it's definitely the state of mind going into it, because if you're on a mission, like you're focused on something,
you're gonna miss everything on the outside of that.
Yeah, and I've even noticed that when I'm like, okay, this is like the great shot that I want to get. I want to be posted up exactly right here, and I'll spend like an hour waiting for that. Like, I'll find myself falling into that where I don't really need to be. Like, I'll take millions of shots at one place, and when I come back to it in the computer, it's like, oh, that one on the way there was way better than any of those thousands of pictures that I took at that one spot. Yeah.
It's funny how that works out.
Yeah. So, that's part of the learning process too. Just kind of self-improvement over the time, not wasting time, staying in one spot when I could be exploring around and seeing who knows what else.
Yeah. What's the hardest part, do you think, of photography?
Personally, I'm just going to say just messing around with a tripod. I'm the type, I swear.
That's not what I was expecting at all. Damn. Okay.
I'm the type, I want to just be running around unencumbered. I've got just a really light camera, a wide angle lens, and a telephoto lens. I just want to be running around. And I've found like when I get into the low light situations, you have to make the shutter speed lower, which gathers more light. Instead of like 100ths of a second, you have like 1/30th of a second, which will gather more light, but you get more shaking too.
Okay.
And below, like 1/30th of a second, it kind of gets some shaking when you're doing it handheld, and that's about the zone where you want to be when you're taking like the nice sunset pictures or in darker areas like the forest. You pretty much have to have the tripod. But if you're in the rain and running out there and trying to set it up, and you get the tripod perfect, and then a car comes through and you got to get out of the road, I just want to just
like, hold on, man. Let me take this picture real quick.
Yeah.